This is Pinfalls and Pixels, where wrestling meets gaming.
It was the mid to late 90s, and I remember going to the store with my dad, tagging along as he shopped. While he focused on the groceries, I had my own mission: to find the magazine section. You see, this was a different time, an era of VHS tapes and soon to come DVDs, where entertainment wasn't just instant, but something you actively searched for and cherished. For me, the magazine rack was a treasure chest, and two staples always caught my eye: XXL and WWF Magazine. And sometimes, I got lucky enough, I was able to bring them home. I would pore over every single word, devouring interviews and stories. I would carefully tear out the posters, or sometimes just rip out the pictures of the page in a rush to plaster my walls with my favorite wrestlers, divas, and rappers. My room was basically a living scrapbook of those eras, every inch a reflection of the things I loved. And you can't forget the bonuses, the DVDs and the trading cards tucked inside certain issues. Do you remember those? Discovering them felt like stumbling upon a prize at the bottom of a cereal box. Unexpected and utterly thrilling. To me, WWF Magazine wasn't just something to read, it was an experience, a gateway into the world where larger-than-life characters like Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, and The Undertaker weren't just superstars, they were heroes. Now, I want to be clear. My favorite era was apparently the WWF Raw magazine era, a sister publication to WWF Magazine, but we will get into everything. And of course, we all know why magazines like this eventually disappeared. With the rise of digital media, social platforms, and streaming services made print less essential. But for those of us who grew up flipping through its pages, WWF Magazine was more than just paper and ink. It was a culture phenomenon. And today I would like to celebrate it, not mourn its decline, but honor the role it played in shaping a generation of fans. This is the rise and fall of WWF Magazine. The birth of WWF Magazine in 1983 marked the beginning of a bold new chapter for professional wrestling. Vince McMahon's vision of transforming the World Wrestling Federation into a global entertainment empire extended beyond the ring. To make wrestling feel larger than life, McMahon introduced WWF Victory magazine. Its purpose was clear: to give fans access to their favorite superstars and storylines while promoting WWF as a cultural phenomenon. By 1984, the magazine was rebranded as WWF Magazine, and its third issue would feature the newly crowned WWF champion Hulk Hogan on the cover. Hogan's charisma and mainstream appeal became the cornerstone of WWF's national expansion, and WWF Magazine became a vital part of that strategy. The 1980s were a time when professional wrestling began to capture mainstream attention. WWF Magazine played a crucial role in shaping how fans experienced the product, turning its larger-than-life superstars into household names. The magazine stayed firmly within the world of kayfabe, treating the scripted storylines as reality. The fans would get quote-unquote inside scoops on rivalries and matches that made them feel part of the drama. Each issue would focus on the heroes and villains of the ring, such as Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, Macho Man Randy Savage, and the Ultimate Warrior. These profiles delved into the characters' motivations and accomplishments, further cementing their legendary status. Issues included previews and recaps of major events like WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series, building anticipation and immortalizing iconic moments. The magazine's success wasn't just about storytelling, it was about creating an interactive experience for fans. Fold-out posters of wrestling icons became prized possessions for fans. Many remember their bedrooms being covered with images of Hogan tearing his shirt or Savage holding the Intercontinental Championship. The magazine would often feature contests and giveaways, from action figures to tickets for live events, creating even more excitement for readers. One of the most iconic issues from this era was the WrestleMania 3 special. In the legendary Hulk Hogan vs. Andre the Giant match, the issue captured the spectacle of what many consider wrestling's greatest event. It also marked the moment when WWF Magazine became more than a promotional tool. It became a collector's item. As the 1990s began, WWF was reaching new heights of popularity. Superstars like Bret the Hitman Hart, Shawn Michaels, and The Undertaker were redefining wrestling with their technical skills and compelling storylines. WWF Magazine mirrored this evolution, focusing on storytelling and visuals that showcased the artistry and drama of the sport. The magazine became more polished during this time, blending kayfabe with subtle nods to the real world. While still largely rooted in storylines, WWF Magazine occasionally addressed real-world events. For instance, it covered Brutus Beefcake's parasailing accident and the divorce of Randy Savage and Miss Elizabeth, giving fans rare glimpses into the lives of their heroes. The photography also improved significantly, featuring action shots from matches and more stylized portraits of superstars. Wrestlers also began contributing columns, giving fans insight into their thoughts and perspectives on the business. Event-themed issues, like the SummerSlam 1992 edition, would become highly anticipated. The magazine's detailed coverage of Bret Hart vs. British the Bulldog at Wembley Stadium is still remembered as one of the best features. By 1995, WWF Magazine was a staple for fans. It wasn't just a magazine, it was a monthly ritual that connected the audience to the ever-evolving world of professional wrestling. It was a cultural phenomenon that redefined professional wrestling. The boundaries of kayfabe were blurred, characters became more edgier, and the product leaned into more mature, provocative storytelling. WWF Magazine adapted to these seismic shifts, delivering bold, edgy content that mirrored the transformation fans were witnessing every Monday night on Raw is War. But for those who craved even more grit, scandal, and realism, WWE gave birth to a sister publication, Raw Magazine. This era of WWF Magazine and Raw Magazine not only reflected the times but also influenced how fans consumed wrestling content. It became the golden age for print media in wrestling, delivering content that pushed boundaries, catered to older fans, and created iconic moments that remain etched in memory. In 1996, Vince Russo, one of
Bro, I wrote so many stories for that magazine, man. So many.
The magazine would completely break kayfabe, with articles exploring real-life feuds and personal struggles, pulling back the curtain on the wrestling world. The magazine featured provocative photo shoots of divas like Sable, Sunny, and Tori Wilson, often sparking controversy. The March 1997 edition of Raw Magazine really pushed boundaries with one of its most unconventional and daring photo spreads. Marlena, topless with arms crossed to preserve some modesty, stood covered in gold paint. The image was bizarre, provocative, and perfectly suited for Goldust's character. During the Attitude Era, Sable was one of WWE's most marketable stars, and Raw Magazine didn't shy away from capitalizing on her popularity. Her covers often featured risque content, showing her in revealing outfits or striking bold poses that set the standard for the divas at the time. And I have to give a special shout out to the Stacy Keibler and Dudley Boyz cover. These magazines would greatly help the careers of people like Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock, who blessed covers with his stylish look. The Attitude Era was a perfect storm for WWF Magazine and Raw Magazine. Wrestling was at its hottest, and the magazines amplified the energy and controversy of the time. They weren't just reflections of the product, they were integral to its storytelling. With the end of the Attitude Era and the dawn of the Ruthless Aggression Era, WWE was entering a period of transformation. Iconic stars like The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin were stepping away, leaving room for a new generation of wrestlers to take center stage. Superstars like John Cena, Brock Lesnar, Randy Orton, and Batista were thrust into the spotlight, each bringing their own unique style and appeal to WWE. WWF Magazine, which was officially rebranded as WWE Magazine in 2002 following the company's name change, evolved alongside this new era. It would balance the family-friendly tone that defined the company's new direction with the high-energy storytelling that had made it so popular in the first place. The magazine underwent a significant redesign, featuring more dynamic layouts, higher quality photography, and bold, modern typography. Rising stars like John Cena graced the covers, showcasing his evolution from the brash doctor of thugonomics to WWE's family-friendly poster boy. Articles began looking into the personal lives and training regimens of wrestlers, giving fans a glimpse of the real effort that went into creating the magic of WWE. As WWE focused on global expansion during the Ruthless Aggression Era, WWE Magazine became an essential part of its brand. The magazine wasn't just a tool for promoting storylines, it was a way for fans to connect with the product on a deeper level. Whether you were a Cena fan or cheered for the hard-hitting Brock Lesnar, WWE Magazine offered something for everyone. In 2008, WWE launched WWE Kids Magazine, recognizing the need to engage its youngest demographic. This magazine was entirely different from its more mature predecessor, focusing on fun, games, and simplified storytelling. Wrestlers like Rey Mysterio, Jeff Hardy, and Kofi Kingston were prominently featured due to their high appeal among children. Though short-lived in the US, WWE Kids Magazine was a significant attempt to broaden WWE's appeal to families. It played a key role in WWE's strategy of cultivating a new generation of fans who would grow up loving the product. By the late 2000s, the landscape of media consumption had changed drastically. The internet was no longer a luxury, it was a necessity. WWE had fully embraced digital platforms with the launch of its website and later the WWE Network. Fans now had instant access to exclusive content, interviews, and behind-the-scenes footage that magazines had once been the primary source for. WWE Magazine struggled to adapt to this new reality. While it made attempts to modernize with glossy redesigns and digital editions, its relevance was fading. With the internet offering faster and often free content, fewer fans were willing to pay for a magazine. And as printing and distribution costs rose, maintaining a physical magazine became less viable. In 2014, WWE announced the end of WWE Magazine. The final issue, featuring Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and Dean Ambrose on the cover, hit stands in September of that year. It was a symbolic passing of the torch to a new generation of wrestlers and fans. While its closure marked the end of an era, the legacy of WWE Magazine lives on. For decades, it was a trusted companion for wrestling fans, offering a mix of entertainment, nostalgia, and insider access that no other medium could replicate. From the golden age of Hulk Hogan to the edginess of the Attitude Era and beyond, it chronicled the evolution of the sport and the larger-than-life personalities who defined it. For those who lived through it, the magazine was more than just something to read. It was a connection to the superstars, storylines, and the moments that made wrestling magical. And while the world has moved on to digital platforms and streaming services, the memories of flipping through those pages, tearing out those posters, and finding surprise collectibles remain etched in the hearts of fans forever. When did you start reading WWF Magazine? What was your favorite cover? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to share, like, comment, and subscribe for more wrestling content. Thanks for watching.